Good evening and welcome to Literature in 60 Minutes. I am Zandile Pooe. It is such a pleasure to be here once again. It's Wednesday night, so we know that we are having our author interviews, and tonight I am chatting to Miracle Chawane, and he is the author of The 5 Rand University. I met him at a book review, and very interesting title, and it really captivated my attention. So I thought, let me invite him over and hear what he has to say. So we'll be chatting to him right after the break. Please stay tuned.
Zoe Live Radio, the abundant life experience. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, Jesus lives here. 24/7, Zoe Live Radio.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. We are talking to Miracle Chawane, and he is the author of The 5 Rand University, the ultimate guide to the person you are meant to be. Welcome, Miracle. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Zoe.
Zoe.
All right. So it's because it's Zoe Live.
Yes.
So I have Zoe in my mind. Zandi.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
inviting me. And my name is Miracle Chawane.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm saying thank you for inviting me is because we're living in a world where people want to be heard. There's a lot of people who want to speak. Everybody wants to talk. So there's very few people who are willing to listen. Almost close to zero willing to listen, because we all have opinions. We all have things to say. So when you invite me and give me this opportunity to come and speak and you listen to me, it really means a lot. Appreciate it.
That's so deep. So deep and so heartfelt as well.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. But now I want to find out, the 5 Rand University. First of all, how did you coin the title?
Ooh, guys, so the formalities aside, now back to the real stuff.
Yeah.
So this makes me excited because to date, I think this is the most powerful piece of work I've done on earth. And it's through the 5 Rand University, the book. Where does that come from? Well, it comes from, it's a story about how I grew up. The 5 Rand University, the book talks about 3 things that make up a human being: your past, your present, and your future. So the 5 Rand University is part of my past when I was still a kid. My father sent me away from home to study in a different province in Limpopo. I'm from Mpumalanga. So he sent me to Limpopo to study there because there was a better school, it was a Christian school. So we had another house in Limpopo. So there the arrangement was in the evenings, I would sleep over with this neighbor, a brother of mine. He would come over at night, sleep over with me. And then in the morning, he goes his way, I go my way. I prepare myself to school. I do everything by myself. And I was still very young.
Wow.
Talking about grade 6.
Sure.
That's what, standard 4.
Yeah.
So my dad taught me how to cook at a very young age, how to wash my own
Your
clothing.
dad is a champ.
Yeah. So I grew up like that as an independent young man. But there was a problem during that time in the community. Just the street behind ours, at the spaza shop where we used to buy our bread and stuff, they brought an arcade machine. So
Distraction.
we all got so addicted to that arcade machine. All the young boys were there every time. For me, it was worse because when my dad comes, he would visit once a week or maybe twice, come just to check over on me because he has churches. My dad is a pastor, so he has churches all over South Africa. So he would come to Limpopo, check out his churches and see me, go back to another province and stuff like that. So when he would come, he would leave me with about 50 Rand. That was to sustain me throughout the week.
Sure.
It was good money at the time.
At the time.
I mean, we're talking
Come
about.
on now. I still don't
back
give
in
my
the
child
days.
50 Rand for lunch.
Well, it was for the week.
For the week, okay, yeah. that
So,
makes sense.
and with that 50 Rand, I was supposed to buy bread, not once, not twice, maybe 3 times, because it's my lunch at school.
breakfast.
It was my breakfast. When I'm lazy to cook, it's my dinner. So I would buy bread like many times in the week. So, and it was 5 Rand. Bread was 5 Rand at the time.
Okay.
So,
It's coming together.
yeah, it's connecting. So we got addicted to the games. From school, I would go straight to the games, not get home. Play games until it's late in the evening, and I go back home. This one time, my dad decided to come back unannounced. The house is dirty. It's filthy dirty. It's a pigsty. No, I've not washed my dishes, the pots. It's a mess. From school, I go to the games as usual. My dad is not come. I'm home alone. So I'm playing games. Can't now, man. That day, my friend was asking to play with me. Can I just play one game? I just want to play one game. I'm like, I'm going to give you now because I'm losing. So that competitive spirit came up. And I want to beat this game just once. I'm like, I'm going to give you now.
And
I
that
lose.
addictive
Put more money.
Yeah.
Lose. Put more money. This guy is asking until he got really
Annoyed.
And then he went home. And it was late that time. My dad is wondering, where is this guy? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not home. Where is this guy? He called everybody, my school teachers, my transport. They're like, hey, we dropped that guy a long time ago. So he's out of options. He doesn't know where I am. Then he sees this guy coming home. This guy is in a bad mood because, hey, where he comes from, not good. It was the day that the Lord has made for him. My dad asks him, hey, where's your friend? I've been looking for him all this time. He's like, yo, that guy's busy spending money at the games. How that information translated into me gambling in my father's ears, I don't know. So gambling, pastor's kid, gambling, hey, it didn't sit well. He prepared some
moral
sticks for
depravity.
me. Yo, imagine. So he prepared for me.
Yeah.
I came back. It was around 7:30 in the evening.
Sure.
Tired. I see my father's car at the gate. Long story short, I get home. My father showed me flames. And yeah, those sticks ended on my body. But the following week, when he goes back home, so usually when he goes on a Monday, he would leave like a 50 rand note on the table. Then I know that's my money for the week. That day when I came back from school, I see a silver coin shining on the table. 10%.
He narrowed you down to
right
10.
Tithe. And I see that 5 rand coin on the table. And I'm wondering, okay, what is this all about? But I don't understand, you know? And then I go around, I check in the house. All right, my dad is not in the house. So clearly, he's gone somewhere because he left the 5 rand. So he's going to come.
And that's where the other money normally is left.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm like, nah, man, even if I'm stupid here, it can only be one thing here. This means this is my money for the week. And that was it. That was my money for the week. My father had gone home. I searched his room. Usually there are coins in his room. There's money lying around in the house somewhere. So I would get some coins. But that time, there was no coin at all.
Because you probably funneled it yourself when
you
were looking for arcade money.
So it was only that 5 rand on the table, and I knew that was my money to survive.
Oh my God.
And I survived through the week. And that was my university. I started there with my lifelong education, which I got from home, my 5 rand university. So it's the moral of the story to say that education starts at home. Parents have a role to play with their kids. We can't rely on the school to educate our kids only. We can't rely on the church to educate our kids. What are you doing at home? My university started at home, and it was a lifelong university. Today I'm here writing books, independent, doing my own thing, self-employed. It is all from the basic lessons I got from home, which was my 5 rand university. So that is the beginning of the book.
The title. That's where the title comes from.
That's where the title.
That is such a profound story. Sure. Now I'm thinking of how I'm going to 5 rand my household. How I'm going to do it my way. But and it says it starts with my father. So where do you come from? Let's talk about that. You expounded it in the book, but I think, just a brief background on who you are and where you come.
Yeah, so I come from Mpumalanga, Bushbuck Ridge, a village called Role. So when I was born in the mid-90s, my dad was a pastor. So still a pastor. So he's been very consistent, eh? So I was born into being a pastor's kid all my life. I've been a full-time pastor's kid.
PK woes.
Yay! It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing ever. Yeah. It was the hardest job ever. And I sympathize with other pastors' kids out there because it's really hard. Living for people, trying to put up an image. Yeah, not only the serving part, but trying to put up this perfect face in the eyes of the public. Because everybody's looking at you like an example. You are the pastor's kid, so somehow you are a little Jesus. You need to be turning water into wine somehow and doing amazing things. And for me, because I'm the only boy amongst two ladies and two ladies after me. So I've got 4 sisters, and I'm right here in the middle.
Wow,
the
my
only
gosh.
boy. So you can imagine, I'm called a bishop because my dad is the founder of our church. So he's the bishop of our church. So I'm called a bishop at a very young age. I have to live with that bishop title all my life. And everywhere I go, because my father is really quite popular that side. So when I say, and I look like him, so they see it very clearly that this guy,
There's no running away from it.
Bishop
Yeah.
Ray's son. So everywhere I go, I've got eyes, I've got spotlights on me, expectations and all of that. It became too much for me. Like, I hated this pastor's kid thing. Yeah, it was really frustrating. And at home, my father is busy putting me in a university where he's molding a man here, he's molding a leader here. So I've got that kind of, my father is molding me into a leader, and the community is not making it any better for me because of the tension between. And kudos on my dad, who once said in front of the congregation that, you know what, I'm the one who was called by God, not my family, not my wife, not my kids. So do not be putting pressure on these people when you see them living like they're normal human beings. It's because they're not called, they're not pastors. I'm the pastor here. So he at least knowing that my father is not putting pressure on me relieved me a bit. And that's why, as a coping mechanism, I fell into being a clown. So I became a comedian. I was very funny, because I was avoiding this whole thing of being too serious, because if I become too serious, then it blends into the whole pastor's kid thing, which I don't want. So every time my dad would put me up on stage to introduce him as a speaker, I'd just go there, make jokes, laugh on stage. So I was a naughty guy. Nobody took me seriously for a very long time. Even at school, nobody took me seriously.
So you were not like, I am not going in this direction, I am going in that one.
So it was almost like,
I see.
I'm not being rebellious, I'm just being too naughty, I'm just being unserious so that
And
people don't take me
too.
serious.
Yeah.
So I became that loud kid and out there, and trying to just cope with the pressure that I was getting from the community. But coming from that kind of a family, now in retrospect, because I remember it's also in the book, there was a time when I was doing my second year in university. I think I had a depression there, just not diagnosed. It was not a popular thing at that time. So
and you are male, so
and
it's
I'm
not
male,
something
so
that...
it's not something I would come out. I
Yeah.
have to be strong.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I think I was depressed at some point, because I would find myself in my room, in a dark room. When I come back from school, I just want to switch off the lights. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be away from the world. And I'm just feeling low. My spirit was low. And the feeling I had was the feeling of hatred against my father. And I felt like at the time, this guy hated me in a way. Why would he put so much pressure on me at a very young age? Because I did everything. He exposed me to everything. I was driving a tractor at home, grade 10, grade 11.
Okay.
He had a tractor trucks at our house, and during school holidays and on Saturdays, I would go out with my friends. I'm driving the tractor. We're going plowing fields in the community.
So you have a farming background, yeah.
I've got that kind of a thing where I'm servicing people. They pay me. We go get sand for them, building sand. We deliver. And I'm still young at that time. But we're pushing that business. We're running it. And all of that. At church, I was a videographer, the producer of our sermons, which were airing on TV. So he took me to school for that.
Such exposure.
And it was great exposure. At the time, I didn't see that. At the time, I didn't see that. I was young, and I felt like, why is he making me do all of these things? But he would take me there.
And trusting you, most importantly.
Exactly. He trusts you.
Because the commercial aspect is a major trust factor.
Big time.
Yeah.
Imagine, I'm driving big trucks and expensive trucks. The tractor, John Deere, it's like
I need a John Deere.
So, but he gave it to me. He trusted me. Saw me as I was going around with the people who were working. I was learning. One day I started it. I left. He came back like, "Oh, you drive? Okay, fine. There's a client there. Go service them." So he trusted me to that level. So that's the biggest thing that he has instilled in me. The level of trust that he showed me. So, but being a kid, I translated all of that. Being a worship team leader as well at a young age. As a kid, I translated all of that as my father was just not being reasonable. I was still a kid. Why didn't he allow me to be a kid? And then what helped me, okay, I'm talking too much now, but what helped me is I after thinking about it like that over a long period of time, I was like, no man, how do I help myself here? How do I love myself? Loving myself is not staying in the state that I'm in. So how do I get out of the state? Then I started documenting everything, writing it on a journal, how I felt, why I hated my
Journaling is
dad.
therapeutic.
And then on the other side, I'm like, all right, let's now look at things from my father's perspective. Why was he doing all he was doing? And that's where my healing came from. Oh, he was actually doing it out of love. He was actually helping me to become more independent, be more responsible and self-sustaining, because he's not going to be here forever. So all of the things he did, it was to help me out. And look at me now. And that was the thing that changed the whole game. My perspective shifted. And that's where my love went 10 times higher for my dad.
Wow.
So yeah, that is my background.
Sure. What? You're such a great storyteller.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're a
thank
great
you.
storyteller. Like I could listen and you could tell me more.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
How
Appreciate
to believe
that.
in yourself is your next subheading or your next chapter.
Yeah.
So this is an issue that we struggle with, at different points in our lives, especially adolescent age, because then you are like, oh, who am I? You're trying to figure yourself out. If you're not lucky and get it right then you go into your 20s with that confusion or lack of understanding. And God forbid, then you go into your 30s with it. And it really leaves a lot of, I think, unfortunate, situations behind you because you accept less because you don't understand who you are and your value and your worth.
Love what you said.
And you miss out on many opportunities because you're not confident enough and you're not trying enough or exploring, opportunities. So tell us about how to believe in yourself.
I like how you said you accept less
Yeah.
because you do not know yourself enough and you don't believe in yourself. It's basically who after writing this book, I realized that out of all the things I was trying to achieve with this book, it is more of a confidence booster book than anything. As much as I talk about becoming the person you are meant to be, I realize that at the end of that is confidence.
Yes.
Because when you become the person that you are really meant to be, then you get confident like crazy.
Very
you are like a
much so.
hardcore.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop
And not
you.
arrogant, but you just know,
Exactly.
man. You walk in that knowing that this is me and nothing external is going to impact or affect me.
100%.
I'm just driven from this locus of control.
100%. And it's like, how do you differentiate between arrogance and confidence? It's as simple as what you say about you. Is it real? Can we quantify it?
Yeah.
When you say I'm the greatest speaker ever, are you really that great? Do we have a record of you speaking? And if the answer is yes, then there's nothing arrogant about you saying I'm the greatest speaker ever, because there is something to look back into. But when you say I'm the greatest speaker, but you don't even have one video anywhere where you were speaking, then that's arrogance.
There's an element of
come on, relax yourself, please. You understand? So many people confuse that, and why do people actually? It also depends on the receiver, because who defines it as arrogance is the one who's listening.
the perspective holder. Yeah.
Exactly. So there has to be something about that person that makes him feel like I am being arrogant, and that is insecurity. It's like people hate Kanye West.
I don't. I'm a huge Kanye fan. I love Kanye.
Exactly. Why? Because you believe in yourself. He doesn't, whatever he says doesn't reflect any negativity on you. It doesn't incite any insecurity in you.
No.
Whoever he is who he is, and you acknowledge that. That is an element of confidence. Those who feel like it's too much, there's an element of insecurity in them, because it's bringing out something they don't have, and they admire that. So it's really a reflection of what they don't have that makes them perceive him as arrogant. So, but that's not the point. The point is, how do you believe in yourself? By the way, let me just push it in there. When is this gonna air?
Wednesday.
This coming Wednesday.
Yes.
All right, good. So when you see this on Wednesday, I've got an upcoming workshop on the 28th of May at the Freedom Park Museum.
Oh, nice. Yeah, in Pretoria.
Yeah, in Pretoria. It's the Ultimate Confidence Booster Workshop.
Yes.
Talk about what you said. That's why I said I like how you say you accept less
Yeah.
when you don't believe in yourself.
True.
And that is the kind of trap that many people are in. They're stuck in jobs they don't like anymore because they just don't believe in themselves to start their own thing. They just
Or to move to
or
better.
to move to another thing.
Yeah.
They are not applying, or they fail at interviews. Why? Because when they get there, they're like, they're doing me a favor here. So you come from a position of inferiority and feeling like someone is doing you a favor. Whereas if you just change the perspective, know yourself more, believe in yourself more, you know that I'm actually bringing value in this company. So if they get me, then it's good for them. If they don't, I'm sorry.
I'm an asset.
I'm an asset. Yeah. So it's to change people's perspective from being a less of an individual to being worthy of an individual, to help people gain self-worth and be confident in themselves. So that is what the workshop is going to be about. And how do you believe in yourself, as you asked? Believing in yourself is a very problematic thing because we are told every day, just believe in yourself. You know?
I was about to say that.
Every motivational speaker will be
It's
like,
very hard. Like,
very
you're not
hard.
helping me, dude, like at all. Like,
jeez, do you
I already
understand?
know I'm struggling here, but
Exactly. It's like you're
I
pounding
know
on
what you
it.
mean. Exactly.
And like, how do I do it? You're not telling me how to do it. So it gets frustrating. And that's why the opening statement in that chapter is the most frustrating statement to give a human being is believe in yourself.
True.
Because you are telling someone something they know they should do, but you're not giving them the how.
tools,
you know?
as to how.
And motivational speakers are guilty of hyping people up, you know? You can do it. You are enough as you are, and you're not, guys. You really are not enough as you are. You understand?
You're not equipped to know, you know, what enough is, even at that stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. It becomes redundant. You make me feel stupid for not believing in myself. Because you're forcing me to believe in myself, but I know I can't believe in myself. And you are right when you can't believe in yourself because you don't have the tools to believe in yourself.
Exactly. It really is an acquired skill.
So I came up with like mini diagram questionnaire that helps you to believe in yourself.
Okay.
And how do you start believing in yourself? The best way to do it is you draw a circle. In the middle of that circle, well, as I was thinking about this recently, because I was designing an exam for the book, by the way, the exam is for people to actually test themselves when they've finished reading the book. They will write the exam and to test if they understood everything that was in the book. So as I was drafting this, I saw that, okay, in this circle, there should be another one. So I missed that part. Right now, we've got
outer circle.
There's an outer circle.
There's an inner circle.
Now there must be an inner circle.
Okay.
But let me talk about the outer circle as it is in the book. So the outer circle, you put yourself in the middle. You say me, and you write your name in the middle of the circle. Okay. Then when you have you, outside of the circle, you put like ears. What are those ears? You start saying all the things you've achieved in your life. Well, in my case, I got a grade 12 bachelor's degree. I went to University of Pretoria, got a bachelor's degree in environmental sciences. It's another year of the circle. Well, I went on to get my honors in environmental sciences. That's another circle. You understand? What does that do? Already you're like, come on now. What are you doing? Boosting my confidence. You understand? Already it makes you feel like, geez, was it me?
I'm capable.
How many people are excluded on a yearly basis from those things? But I've done this. Not only that, I went into masters. Finished my first year and I got stuck in my second year, but we're not going to focus on that because it's a confidence boosting circle. Then what else did I do? I started my company, my driving school company. I teach people how to drive and they're so successful. I've taught more than 100 people how to drive. And you see, when you write all of those things, you start looking at yourself in a different way. You're like, oh, I'm actually capable. And mind you, this morning I made my bed. It's so beautiful. So it's like you take it for granted, but it's a big thing. Many people just wake up and leave, you know? So when you look at the things you are capable of and the things you've achieved, you start feeling better about yourself.
And the things you are consistent in, I would add.
Exactly. Yes. Now that's the other layer.
Because then you could be a gym person, you could be I don't know what else, you read frequently, so all of those. Anyway, it's your story.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. Because
consistency. In what areas are you consistent? Yeah.
To prove that, recently, I mean, this year, when the year began, I was like, I'm going to build muscle. For the first time, I'm going to be so consistent. Because I started trying to build muscle for years. Just never worked out.
Operation.
And this year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I started waking up at 4:30. It was a difficult thing for me to do.
Sure.
Waking up at anything before 6, it was tough, Still is.
It's tough for most of us.
But I'm like, I'm going to do it anyways. And I've been doing it. I've been trying to be consistent. And I say trying because I can't, it's not all the time.
You don't get it right.
But I do most times. Most times I'm there. I have my alarm at 4:30. And when it rings, I wake up and I'm at the gym by 5. After 5, 6 o'clock, I'm out working. So
put a ear in that circle, man.
You understand? It's another ear on that circle.
Yeah.
And when I look at myself, I'm like, geez, bro, the guns are coming out a little bit. Guys, the guns are coming out for real. Like, it's there now. So I look at myself, I'm like, geez.
I don't have the benefit of the before and after. So.
Yeah, you don't have the before. But I know.
Yes.
I've got the before.
Yes.
And the thing about it, it's that when you know you're doing the work, even when the gains are not there, you fool yourself. Even when they're not visible, you fool yourself to say, geez, bruh, the fact that I'm doing it, it boosts your confidence.
That's very
so
true.
That's how you start believing in yourself. Because you can see the wins in your life. What are the wins in my life? When you see the wins, then you start looking at you with a different eye. This is a capable man. I think I'm capable. Then you start believing in yourself a little bit more. But if you want to take it a little notch higher, because self-belief and self-confidence are two different things.
Yeah, true.
We usually coin them as one, but two
use
different
them
things.
Interchangeably, but they're not.
Yes. And why is it important to note the difference? Because you know which one to tap into when the situation arises. There's a difference. Self-belief is knowing yourself and that you are capable of achieving. So the fact that you have drawn that self-belief circle and your capabilities, that gives you self-belief. You believe in the ability of your execution. I know I can execute. I can do stuff. Then you get into a new job. This new job, you're exposed to things that you've never done before.
You start to shrink.
You can't be confident. And you are right. When you go there, you don't go with confidence. What do you go with? Self-belief. Because you've been in situations where you were doing things for the first time and you executed. So you believe in your identity, your ability to execute. That's how you go in there. And when you do the work 2 days, 3 days, 3 months later, you develop confidence in the job. Then you can be like, I'm confident in my ability to do this job. I've done it for 15 years, So two different things. You come with belief, it ends with confidence. So you really have to believe in yourself. That is the baseline.
Wow. Okay, so now I would like to ask, because accomplishments is what you have used as the leaves, right? How to draw your leaves. We are in a society where we have poverty, like deep, deep, deep poverty. And that inhibits a lot of people from having anything to show and point for them. So for that person who is feeling very destitute, feeling very down and out and saying, I've got nothing to offer the world. Because we've seen that even with people who have a lot to offer the world, they suffer from, depression and other things like that. For someone who is totally clueless about who they are, first things first, and how to then move to identifying who they are and then gaining some kind of confidence or knowledge in how to believe in themselves. How would you speak to someone like that? Or how would you then have a workshop for someone like that?
So that's a good question. I've got many things coming in my head. I hope I can package them in one. So in the circle I was talking about, where it's you in the middle. The second circle that came this week is inside of that circle, inside of the bigger circle, have a smaller circle in there. That is like the foundation. So what goes into that foundation? Your source. The source of your identity.
Come on now.
Power!
Yay! So now let's talk about becoming the person that you are meant to be, right? You've got 4 elements that
Before you
form
finish that, let me
that
just,
part of it.
before you finish that,
Yeah.
let me finish that thought on the second circle.
Oh, yes.
The second circle. So you've got the outer circle, which is the source of your confidence. Outer ears, it's all your achievements. But there's the inner circle. And the inner circle, what is that? That is the source of your belief or the source of your identity.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, your belief comes from your identity. So what is the source of your identity? Now it comes to your belief system. For me, the source of my identity is God. Yeah. So who does God say he is? And then he was like, I am that I am. Going to Brother Mo. He's like, hey, go tell those guys that I am has sent you. And Brother Mo is like, what's that? He's like, shut up and go there. Then he went there and he said, I am that I am sent me. So I'm like, why did he define himself as I am without anything else? And I realized that if he had limited himself to a specific identity, he was not going to be able to be a solution to all the problems they faced along the way. Deep.
Like valley deep. It's a lot.
So when you understand that you are made in that image, the image
and likeness, most importantly.
Exactly. The likeness of the one who created everything. And what did he say at the end of it? He said it was good.
Yeah.
Talk about self-confidence and self-affirmation right there.
Exactly.
You do something and you can see that this is beautiful, and you go out and you hit a horn and you're like, guys, this is good. What I just made here is good. And today when you come outside and tell people that you're great, they're like, you're blowing your own horn. So why do you have it if you can't blow it?
The God who made me said,
he said
I can
it was
say
good.
that it's
You
good
understand
and
what I mean?
it's good. Yeah.
So that you are a person who doesn't have anything materialistic, you're coming from a poor background, it's situations bad around you.
I love that.
Whose image are you made in? And who does he say he is? So
And
if
therefore you are because of that. Yeah.
So if you're gonna wait for things to be okay around you for you to really understand your identity, you are way behind. Then you have to go and refine your belief, because clearly you don't really believe in who you say you believe. He said he's got everything, and mind you, coming from a background where a situation where you've got nothing, what was the world created from?
Come on now. This interview can end. Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Nothing, yes.
It was created from nothing.
Exactly.
I come from Dubai just a week ago. Dubai is super beautiful. First
amazing.
World class
Amazing,
country.
yeah.
Well, city in the United Emirates of Arab or whatever that
Arab
is.
Emirates.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Dubai. You've been so good to me. So it comes from a desert. It's a desert area.
It is.
There was nothing just a little over 27 years ago.
And there's still a lot of nothing around Dubai.
Exactly. But look how well developed it is in just less than 25 years.
Yeah.
It's what it is today. What was the difference there? The mindset.
Yeah.
So they changed that. They didn't look at their situation and be like, my situation is bad, guys. We're a desert, no water, no nothing. It's hot here. Nothing can happen. They went there where there was nothing, a desert. A desert is a dead area. Nothing happens in a desert. And they created such a beautiful tourist attraction area that we all want to go there. So don't look at yourself as a person who is nothing. And the fact that you look at yourself and you pity yourself on how destitute you are, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You've got to change that. Because when you change that, things can start looking up for you. I think that's what I can tell someone who thinks they have nothing. Because
And
it's
now
all
they
in the
have a
mind.
lot.
Now you've
if
got
that
a
was
lot.
you, then now you know you've got a great base to work on. So work on that relationship with God, because that's where you are going to rise up and become your true self. So now, becoming the person you are meant to be. That's what you say next. 4 different areas. Just give me a snapshot, okay? Because I want this book to sell like hotcakes. So give me a snapshot.
Snapshot is, all right, who are you? We always focus on your identity. Who are you? Everybody talks about who are you? Who are you? You must find your identity, find who you are. We all talk about that, right? But I feel like we're focused a lot of energy on the temporary.
Okay.
Because who are you is temporary.
Yeah.
It's like, Who are you, Zandi? Like 20 minutes ago, you were somebody else before hearing all the things I said. That is in the past. You have developed into a new person right now. Your perspective has shifted in a particular way from the things you've heard. Now, in the next 2 seconds, when I finish this statement, you have turned into something else. You're not the same person anymore. So who are you is really a stagnant position. You don't want to stay in who you are. Okay. It's good as a reference point to move towards who you are meant to be. So your focus should really be on the unfolding. That is the ever unfolding. And that is who you are meant to be. Because at any given point in your life, you are becoming something else. And I say, it's not about what you get. It's about who you become.
Okay. Who you become. And I think that future self perspective is always very important because it also shapes your now decisions.
Exactly. 100%.
What you listen to, what you read, what you get involved in, the kind of people you surround yourself with, So I think that knowing who you are, wanting to become and striving continually to that person and chasing that person based on your current activities. That's just me. I haven't read it.
And you're speaking like we co-wrote the book together.
Okay.
Because it's that.
Great minds.
Exactly. They think together. So it's exactly that. When you're focused on who you are becoming, your now changes massively. Yeah. You become too cognizant of what you do in the now because that is folding you into who you are becoming. Yeah. So it is very important. And it's like when you know you are becoming, you are focused on the becoming, there's certain things you really can't do. Yeah. It's like let's talk about relationships for a second. People love that. So it's like and then they're like, are you married? No, I'm not. So it's like
hey ladies, now that you know.
So all right, the point is when you date someone who is not focused on who they are becoming, then you start having insecurities about what they're doing. Because that person can do whatever with their lives without thinking of the consequences. So if you are with someone who's focused on who they're becoming, you don't have to worry about whether they're cheating or not.
Very true.
They don't want to become that person.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Exactly.
Do you understand?
So it's important to also know who they are trying to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why the question, where are you going with your life, is very important, ladies. Yeah. You all are focused on I love you.
Stop. Like other kids are not like that. Really? Other kids really want good partners. And there's a deficit. There's a serious good man deficit in this world.
That I can't disagree.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
You see, and the miracle chawanis of this world are not married. And
what am I going to do with all of
also
you guys?
The deficit.
What am I going to do with all of you guys?
No, you see,
if only you did.
You are now talking quantities as well, which is another problem in our society.
All right.
So now,
back to the main thing.
Your past is holding you back.
Yes.
This is a problem for a lot of us. We are either, ruminating, meditating, trying to replay, trying to think how I could have done differently, and still, remaining there because you are thinking about that situation and you feel like, oh, my past wasn't great. You're still stuck there because of what was done to you, what wasn't done to you. All of these things, and all of those are past dynamic. And I like how you said about this, who are you meant to be? Now, when I walk out of here is the past. So our rate of adaptation to the now is very low or non-existent for some people. So that holds you back. It doesn't matter whether you have the greatest of memories, but it's holding you back from the meant to be. So tell us how your past is holding you back.
Important you said it like that. You actually quite great, eh? Your line of questioning
It's a
and
revelation.
curiosity is really amazing. Your
Thank
chain
you.
of curiosity is really amazing. You're good at what you do.
Thank you.
Honestly. So in Dubai, I'll go back to that again because it really changed my life. So I was in a space where I was surrounded by wealthy people.
It's always a good place to be.
It was a very good place because the event I went there for, it was about money and investments. So the people who were there were really people who could afford to be there for something like 4 to 5 days. And Dubai is not cheap.
No, it's not.
You know? So it's really people who could afford. The event itself was an expensive, elegant event, talking about real stuff, like big monies. Understand? So I'm surrounded by this wealth around me, from the hotel that I was staying at, the wealth around me. And I'm not bragging. A certain element is, but not the most part of it. So,
okay.
So that's not the point. The point is, I'm surrounded by this wealthy people, right? And the event we went there for, it was to introduce new opportunities into investment spaces. And then I'm there having conversations with these old people who have businesses, who are rich. And I'm like, why are you here? Right? I had a conversation with this other guy. Why are you here? I mean, you've done well, you're successful, you've done great in your life. He's like, yeah, I have. And actually recently with another opportunity like this, I just lost 750,000 Rand.
Sure. Oh.
I'm like, are you crazy? So why are you here now with a new opportunity when you just lost that?
Okay.
He didn't dwell in the past.
True. Exactly.
He didn't let the past hold him back. He lost yesterday, he didn't lose today.
And into the future.
And he didn't lose into the future. And I'm like, so what are you going to do about all of this information? He's like, I'm going to put more.
Wow.
I'm going to put a lot of money into this because I can see where it's going. I understand the vision of where this thing is going. I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do if I fail? Like, I fail.
Then I try again.
Then I try
another thing.
again.
I keep exploring other
moving.
opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that's
a winning mindset.
100%.
And a growth mindset. Yeah.
Exactly that. 90% of the people who were there, they were coming from situations of loss.
Sure.
But they are still there,
That
willing to put even more into this thing.
Yeah.
So I realized, that's why I'm like, I changed. I came back a changed person. Because many of my surroundings, the people around me, they would be like, I lost, I'm not going there again.
And I'm not trying anything ever again.
Because these things are, you know what
so
people
I'd rather
say
be
about
stagnant.
these things?
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here, keep what I have. It's all mine. I'm not going to do anything with it. Right? They are doing what? Allowing their past to hold them back. They've once had a loss and they think it's their permanent future. They're not going to move forward because they've lost. But I'm in this space, 1% group of wealthy people who are there coming from loss, willing to lose it again, but
willing
trying to
again,
develop again.
Yeah.
They're like, from the loss, I learned. I learned to be more diligent in my approach, to do my due diligence.
Yep.
But
That
I'm not going to stop. But I'm not going to stop. I might not unfold everything around this whole thing.
And I'm still going to take the risk.
I'm still going to take the
because
risk.
everything is a risk. Your risk
Exactly.
appetite needs to increase to the, proportion of the level of success you want to
Exactly.
accomplish.
100%.
We sometimes
Beautiful.
want
Said it
to,
like that.
stay safe and keep, hold. Well, if you haven't invested a whole lot, what you're holding is, not making you anything. So yeah,
the risk is directly proportional to the perceived value and gain
that you're going to
that you're going to get,
experience,
that you're expecting to get.
that you're
Exactly.
expecting to get.
So yeah, it's that's what. So it's you said a very powerful thing there. How do you not let your past hold you back? You've got to have goals that are way bigger than your present. To
That's
pull
another
you
important element.
to pull you towards, and what is that goal? Is the person you are becoming. So when you look at your person you are becoming, you're like, this is what he said: I will do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or even imagine. Let's evaluate that for a second. He will do whatever you ask and whatever you imagine. He will always do exceedingly. So many times we limit the power of God by how little we ask or imagine. Because he will always do exceedingly and above your imagination. So if your imagination is here now, His exceeding and abundant is just here. It will shock you, of course. It's you. Your imagination is small.
But
so when you get a little bit more.
Up.
So imagine if you went all the way up, all the way there. That's why I see myself as a billionaire in dollars.
Come on now.
You understand?
Dollar billionaire.
Exactly.
Reporting.
My imagination is there at Zoe Live, guys. You're listening to the billionaire, right? Of the very near future. And that is me. Because now I know he will do exceedingly and abundantly. I might die as a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Because he is doing exceedingly and abundantly above that.
Come on.
So the goal has to be attractive enough for you to let go of that past that's holding you back.
And you know what the turnkey scripture that nobody ever cites? According to the power that is at work in you. That's the whole scripture. That's the whole scripture. You see. So a lot of us, we leave it to God. Then we say exceedingly abundantly above you can also think according to the power that's at work in you. So there has to be that partnership between you and God that says the power that's at work in me is thinking billionaire status, and therefore he can do trillionaire status because he has to deliver on his exceeding.
Wow.
Because now your responsibility is the billionaire bit.
Oh wow. So there has to be a level of attraction in you that allows him to do exceedingly and powerful, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we go to church now?
The obstacles. We are deep in this sermon, man. The obstacles of identity. I think briefly, we still have a bit to go. But yeah, briefly, obstacles, because like we said, your circumstances. I mean, a lot of people's backgrounds lead to them having a limited understanding of who they are, which then further limits what the experiences that they have in life. So obstacles of identity and things to watch out for, especially keenly look out for these things if you are experiencing them in your life.
So I say something in the book along the lines of many people try to avoid the past in living their present day, hoping for a beautiful future.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the past doesn't avoid you. Much as you try to avoid the past, it doesn't avoid you. It keeps creeping upon you and manifests in forms of fears, insecurities, lack of self-worth, shyness.
That stem from the past.
Procrastination. All of these illnesses that become an obstacle to your becoming the person you are meant to be. So the obstacles of your identity become the things that are holding you from becoming the person you are meant to be. And those are fears. Your wrong surroundings. It's very powerful because, I mean, there's this one guy who had a fish tank in his house. And in this fish tank, he had many fish in there. So some fish started dying. And then he started wondering, what's killing my fish? I'm concerned now. He called the fish doctor, and the fish doctor came there. It's like, Doc, my fish are dying. What do I do? How can I save them? Do we have to inject them one by one? Make sure medicate them because clearly something is wrong. And the doctor is like, no, that's not how you deal with it. Like, what do we do? He's like, just treat the water. When you treat the water, the fish will be fine.
That's a contaminated environment.
It's a contaminated environment.
Okay.
Sometimes what's holding you back is the surrounding environment. Your family could be holding you back.
And that's a hard one.
Your spouse could be holding you back.
Wow.
Your friends could be holding you back. Your workplace could be holding you back.
But
important
also,
things, yeah.
You
could be holding yourself back.
Which is sometimes
all the time. You know? So it's holding you back from, it's becoming an obstacle of your becoming the person you are meant to be.
Exactly.
So all of these things are a result of you trying to run away from your past, trying to avoid it
And not dealing
and
with
not
it.
dealing with it.
Ah.
And you mentioned a point of people stay in their past, they reminisce, they just stay there and look at it and just cry over it and stay depressed. That's not the point. The point is not going there to look how bad it was and pity yourself.
To
and
analyze it.
It's to look at it and appreciate it for what it is. Accept it. Embrace it. As much as bad as it was. I mean, you've been molested 27 times.
Yes.
It's bad. It's
Some
sad.
people had it rough. Yeah.
It's rough. And I do sympathize with you. It's rough on you. But on the other side, we're still talking about you today. Meaning, you went through it. You didn't stay in it. You came out of it. And you are here today. That shows how strong you are.
Yeah.
It is
That's
now
very
only the things in your mind that are holding you back, the experience in your mind that's holding you back.
And how you see
And
it.
how you see
The
it.
story you are telling yourself about it
Exactly.
as well. Because there's this other guy that I follow, I forget his name now, who said that sometimes the only thing you need to change is the story you tell yourself about what happened to you. You know, because sometimes it's like, oh, I was abused, I was this, I was that. That's your story. Change the story. Doesn't mean it'll change the reality of it, but change the story that you tell yourself, because then that might be the key that changes your perspective about yourself.
Definitely. And the power of that is that there's a conscious and subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind never knows what's right or what's wrong.
True.
And how do things go into a subconscious mind? By repetition. So you keep repeating the same story of pityness, self-pity, everybody hates me, why me, and all of that. You dump it into your subconscious mind.
And it just replays
Then
it.
it
Feeds
replays
it back
itself.
to you all
and
the time.
what is the result of that? The depression that you end up getting, the low self-worth, the feeling of unworthiness. You feel like you don't deserve beautiful things in life. Because you're fed your subconscious with this repetition of a story that is negative.
Yeah.
But if you can change that story and be like, it happened. As much as it happened, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I say this thing of, it sounds a bit like, I don't know. When I say people don't love themselves enough, as much as people think they love themselves, you don't. How do you love yourself? It's what kind of messages do you tell yourself? Are you on your side or are you against yourself?
Yeah.
How do you
Don't become your own worst enemy.
Exactly. People are their worst enemies in how they treat themselves. Someone comes and steps on you. You are angry the whole day because they stepped on you by mistake. When you are angry the whole day. Or someone does you bad and you are angry with them for the rest of your life. All right, you're angry with me, okay? Who is what? Who is angry?
I've
It's
moved
you.
on with my life.
You understand? You are angry
Yeah.
with me. I'm not affected by it.
Yeah.
As much as I did you bad, your anger has nothing to do with me. It's you.
And it does nothing to me as well.
Exactly. So when you are angry, you are killing yourself. It's you who's angry. You don't love yourself. You are not on your side. You are against yourself.
That's a
When you see this
good
person, your
perspective.
anger comes up again. Now you just make your environment worse, because every time you see this person, your anger stirs up. Now you
and you
don't
give them so
enjoy.
much power.
Exactly. Now
You
don't
you
enjoy your life
you
because of
outsource
that.
your power so much. You give it to other people and things. Yeah.
So it's like you don't love yourself. That's how I conclude it. You don't love yourself. So how do you love yourself? And it's a thing that you really have to practice. It doesn't come easy. And I do it all the time. I've got an issue with someone close to me and we're not okay in good terms. I always look at their side of the story. I always try to think in their perspective because I want to love myself. I want to make the situation easier on me. How do I make it easier on me? Remember the story about how I hated my dad? How did I make it easier on me? Went to his side of the story, went into his shoes to understand his perspective. And I saw that, oh, he was not there to harm me. So it was just a perspective difference there. And then I'm like, oh, okay, relax, chief. There's no point in hating him, because when you hate him, you are the one who's suffering here alone. So now I'm like, free my mind. And now we have a great relationship because I love myself. I don't like being in the worst state. I don't want to be in the depressed state. So it takes a little bit of practice, but the decision to do that is what's going to change your life.
How are you doing on time? Oh, okay. So now I want us to talk about an important element that is something that we don't get taught in school. If you had the benefit of great parents who taught it to you, then it's something that you get to practice in your life and get the benefit of at a very early age. Vision. Believe in your vision. So visioneering is not we get taught vision boards in our 20s and you're like, oh, this thing is miraculous, So, but if you get it at a very early age, or even if you get it at any point in your life, it really can be so instrumental to change your entire life. So tell us about the importance of believing in a vision.
Sure. That's extremely important. It says, where there's no vision, people perish.
Yeah.
That's the Bible.
Yeah.
As whenever I say it says, it feels like I'm saying, like we're talking
the
about,
word of the Lord
the
says.
Bible, guys.
Yes.
I should get back to that. So to me, I'm just continuing. So it's the Bible says, where there's no vision, people perish. Analyze those words. People perish. People die. People go extinct. People are in destitute. People are. It's a mess. It's dismal state where there's no vision. Why did the king say it like that? We're talking behind the scenes how our country lacks vision.
Yep.
And leadership that has vision. And you see the state of the country.
Yeah.
24, 27 years, 28 years
28,
later,
yeah.
we're still here. Where there's no vision, people perish. So, at the very least, a personal vision is the best thing you can ever do to save yourself.
Say it again.
At the very least,
Yeah.
a personal vision, the best thing you can ever do for yourself. We are living in a country, we're socialized in a country where we are taught how to demand, how to be entitled,
Yep.
how to complain, how to never be satisfied
Come on.
about our conditions, and how to always blame other people.
Yeah.
That is the main characteristics of the country we're living in. We are never
Sad
taught.
state of affairs.
Exactly. We're never taught responsibility.
Accountability.
We're never taught, look at yourself and find resources around you, being resourceful.
Exactly.
We are not taught that. And that's why it's hard for us to have a vision, because we always give away that responsibility to someone who's supposed to come and save us.
Oh,
that's
gosh.
deep.
Woo! Like,
Jeez.
my
guys.
gosh, you should be sent off to the nations with that message.
I receive.
Yeah,
I receive.
because in our country we have shocking stats, and they are heartbreaking because it's systemic challenges that we really need to come to that point where we try and bring solutions. Because then it's a perpetual cycle of it. But I really think what you said is just the key. Start with you. Don't really regard so much, what is my mom or dad going to do for me? What is, this and that going to do for me? What is the government going to do for me? But start with yourself. What do you want for yourself? And how are you planning to get it? With the limited resources that are at your disposal, how are you going to push? Because as we know, God will meet you somewhere.
Exactly.
God will meet you at not just the point of your need, but He will orchestrate events in your favor to get you to where He wants you to go. Because sometimes God is not waiting on God is waiting on us. We are not waiting on God, because sometimes we think, we must wait for God forever. No, we need to take initiative. And I think crafting that personal vision for yourself, deciding, making very important decisions that, I am going to do this. I'm going to try and again, because this is the person that I am meant to be. And
Powerful.
these are the things that I'm going to do to get to that person.
And the power of that is, it won't be smooth.
Yeah.
Pursuing your vision is
Ugh.
not going to be smooth.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
So, but having the vision gives you the strength.
Yes.
Here's a story, a little bit of a story time. So I had a fallout with my dad for the very first time ever in my life.
Sure.
I had a big fallout with my dad, and it was a shock to me because I've lived a life where my dad has always been my support structure. You know, I'm always outrageous in my doings. I just do things. I explore. You know, so my dad, every time I explore, I would tell him I started doing this now. Like, oh, great, go ahead. Now I'm doing this. Oh, great, go ahead. Even when my other family members are not quite understanding, he would be the one to say, do it, you know. As little as it may be, he's always been behind me to support me.
Yeah.
He's always been my number one fan. Until last year, just before releasing the book, he calls me and sits me down. Chief, what's happening with your life? I don't see anything moving in your life. I'm like, okay, how's this going? I'm like, nah, we're moving. Yeah, when I'm thinking it's a chilled conversation. And it's like, yeah, you were doing your master's last I checked. Where's that? How far is that? You've been quiet. And I mean, you were working, you decided to resign. And how far are the job applications? What's happening? Like, no, I just decided to put the master's on hold because it was disturbing me. Disturbing you? From? Like, my business pursuits. I'm trying to build businesses. What business are you talking about? Driving school? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You think you can make a success today in this day and age with a driving school? I felt attacked.
Wow.
I felt attacked. I was in shock. First, I'm in state of shock. I'm like, my biggest fan. What's happening here?
And he said yes when I did the driving school.
Exactly. It was a proud moment, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm building that. I'm building. It's in the big building phases. It's not gonna just boom. Like, you're busy out here and you're on YouTube trying to get people's praises, and there's nothing to show for that. And it's hard at that point in time. You know?
I feel it, and I wasn't there.
I lost the strength to even say more. But I'm like, yeah, but I feel like right now I'm in a position where I'm working towards who I want to be. He's like, no, you're wasting your time. I mean, you're old now. You've got nothing to show. You've got no job, no stability.
My gosh.
At least if you were to finish your master's, you would have something to show. But I did my honors. Like, it's not enough. I'm like,
tough dad.
Bruh. So that conversation went bad. Really, it was hard, heated on. It was really heated. And my sister at some point wanted to jump in, and she's there to try and support me. They're like, if you have nothing better to say, keep quiet.
Yeah.
Let me talk to this guy, because it's time we put him back in line. We went on, and it didn't end well. I'm like, you know what, Dad? I respect you. I was trying to compose myself. That time I'm sweating. It's hard. And I'm like, I'm not going to disrespect him. I'm going to try my best to compose myself. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, thank you for being concerned about my future. But I don't want to lie to you. If I go back and do my master's, I'll be doing it for you, and I won't be happy. I won't excel the way I would want to excel. If I go get a job, I'll feel trapped like I was.
Okay.
So if I go back to my job, I mean, I left because I felt like I was trapped in the job. I couldn't do anything else I wanted to do. So I'm doing what I want to do now.
Yeah. Pursuing my passion.
You know? So I'm like, but it's fine. I hear you. I hear your advices. And I'm not going to take them now, but I'm going to put them at the back of my mind. Please give me time to do what I'm doing. When I'm exhausted, I'll go back to what you're suggesting. I suggested rather get a job and maybe do your businesses on the side. I'm like, fine, but not now. I will do what I want to do. And if I fail, I'll go back to what you're suggesting. But give me time to do this. And that's where the chapter came from. The believe in your vision. All right?
Okay. So
I was
anchored in
attacked.
that. Yeah.
You understand? I was attacked by my biggest supporter on this planet. And this is what he said. After seeing that, all right, this guy is really there. He's holding whatever he's holding. Because he was also shocked that I'm actually contending with him now. Because he knows that whatever he suggests, I will always take. Whenever he says he doesn't think this is a good idea, I will always take his ideas.
So you've never had divergent views
We've
before?
We've always been on the same line all the time. I mean, it was easy. It's made me leave a few girls. Yeah, it's made me even leave a few girls because he thought they were not good enough, and I left them.
I like you.
I'm telling you, I left them.
Oh my
because
gosh.
he was like, nah, I don't think this. I would take, I trust him like that.
Oh my gosh.
You know? So when that happened, both of us were in a state of shock. He's disagreeing with me. I'm like, he's challenging me, kind of thing. But he said this. We took a few minutes. He went out. He came back. He's like, you know what, boy? If you are never tested on your vision,
and you stand for it,
you can never be trusted.
Yeah.
And in your case,
it's a fickle vision.
And in your case, there was no other person alive on this planet who was ever going to challenge you the way I challenged you. Because everyone else, they are respecting. They respect you. They won't tell you the truth. I'm the only guy in your life who is in the position to be doing what I just did.
I like your dad.
So now I gave you a test. I gave you a challenge now. You have to go there and prove me wrong. And that's when we're going to say, indeed, your vision was valid.
And I hope you're doing that every day.
And can't sleep. I can't sleep.
That's good pressure to have.
So that is where the belief in your vision comes from.
Wow.
You know, I was challenged by my biggest fan, and it ended on a let's agree to disagree kind of state. And he came back with a powerful lesson, which I took indeed. You need to believe in your vision. And sometimes your vision could be wrong, but at least believe in it.
Stand for it, yeah.
So,
and have conviction that, you know what, you may come at me with opposing views and maybe the cracks in my, vision, but ultimately it's mine. And I take full ownership of it.
100%.
I'm going to follow through on it, even if it fails, because it was mine to begin with.
Exactly.
It wasn't our mutual failure to share.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. This book, guys, is a must get. Please invest in a copy for yourself, for your loved ones. If you are listening and tuning in, it really is a worthwhile read. Thank you so much, Miracle. How can people get a hold of your book, and how much does it cost?
You can go to my website, themiracleperspective.com, which is still being fixed, was being revamped. So that's why I'm a bit unsure if you can go there. But if you go there and you can't find it because it's being revamped, text my business WhatsApp 082 7626 727, and you can come at me with anything you want. Even if it's attending the Ultimate Confidence Booster Workshop happening on the 28th of May, do that. That is really going to change your life, guys. And even if it doesn't change your life, at least you're supporting me, It's only a few of us who are trying to do big things to impact the world positively. So at least support that vision. But if it's not that, support yourself, because after that, you'll go out believing in yourself and believing in your vision, and also being in a position to accept more in life because you believe that you deserve more. So it's really about self-worth. So go there, go to my WhatsApp number 0827626 You will get the details to buy the tickets. We are actually running a special at the moment. The tickets range from $150 to $499. And there's $250 and $499. They come with a buffet meal right there. It's a beautiful place. Freedom Park Museum, exactly. It's a very beautiful place. We have the best chef that's going to be serving us on the day. It's a buffet meal. So if you're not coming for the workshop, come for the food at least. There's many reasons for you to come to this event.
Yes, diversify your options, please.
So yeah, come there. And the first 50 people, because also we are trying to limit the quantities and the numbers for the COVID and stuff like that. Yeah. So first 50 people are getting that discount, and from there on we are gonna pump up the prices. So
awesome. Come
there and see you there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I might drop by at that seminar. I hope I will be available. I have so many things to do.
But right now you don't have enough time. You're not sure. You're not sure about
because
the
I even know that the 28th is a Sunday, correct?
It's a Saturday.
Sorry,
that's
it's
why
a Saturday.
You're coming. You're free on Saturday.
Sorry.
Your Sunday is busy.
I caught
Your
myself.
Saturday
my Sunday is busy.
Is not
so
busy.
if it's not a Sunday, I might show up. But
Not a
thank
Sunday,
you.
yes.
Thank you so much. It's been
No,
an
thank you
honor
to you.
having you on the show. I hope, you get lots of ticket sales for your seminar and your books. I
you
really
so much.
wish you everything of the very best.
And just like how I started, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and listen to me. There's a few people that are willing to listen, and there's a lot of people having a lot to say. So when I get back on YouTube and run it consistently again, because now I'm doing some rebranding work, when I get back, I will get you back and return the favor.
Come on
to have
now.
you on my show.
I'm a worthy guest. That's what that means. You found value in chatting to me.
You are
Appreciate
amazing.
it.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Your mind of curiosity is really what got me today. So guys, please do follow her. If you're already a follower, please make sure that you click on the subscribe button and you put on the notification bell so that when she posts new things, you're the first one to see them, because she's gold. She's got real stuff.
So much.
Guys.
That's a great
Thank you
vote
so
of
much.
confidence. I really appreciate it.
It is.
After the break, we're going to be signing out with you guys. So please stay tuned.
Your number one inspiration station, Zoe Live Radio, the abundant life experience.
Welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying the course, because this interview was a bit longish. So thank you so much for tuning in right until the end. It's been such a pleasure chatting to Miracle. Very interesting perspective in life and very interesting lessons that he's been through in his life. I hope you are able to get his book and get tickets for his seminar, as he's mentioned, for the 28th of May, and get to understand what you need to build in yourself to reach that level of confidence to get to the person that you want to be. But from me, I'm signing off with you guys. May God bless you and have a fruitful week.